fight's not over.
Stop the fight!
People.
Everybody, I come here for everybody. Kill everybody. I'm the champ. I'm the king. Kill everybody. Ah!
All right, this is our post-fight recap of our Rakic versus Blachowicz betting results and full card recap. So we'll start with our betting, and we put 9.5 units on the line on the line to win about 11, and we went positive but practically even with 0.03 units. Carson, let's get into your straight bet behind Rakic.
Yeah, I had Rakic winning, and I felt like he was going to win, but he blew out his knee.
Yeah, we can talk more about the main event when we get to the full fight results, but yeah, that one was unfortunate. It was nice knowing, though, that we were going into the main event positive, because I was at 2.23 units before that main event. Going into the parlays, Tyra and Grant got it together, and they got us that 1.25 unit bet going through, which is nice. Hadley just got outmatched, and Maximov, had a bad start. That one lost. The four-legger that I threw together, I think that could have went our way, but Kutebala kind of got the takedowns, but he didn't really do too much else. For prop bets and parlays, Schuchatian by points hit. Angela Hill by points missed. Over 3.5 rounds missed, just the blown knee. It might have gone over 3 still, probably was a little bit favored. Carson, you had under 2.5 rounds, but there's a funny story behind this one, because I accidentally placed this one for over 2.5, and so we did win, but we'll mark it as a loss in the betting sheet.
Yeah.
I think it's because I see the over 2.5, or I see the 2.5 prop, and I've always clicked the over, so clicking the under throws me off. And then next one we had was Hadley and Nascimento for distance yes. I added this one on our Instagram. That one hit. And then over 2.5 in those two chick fights, pretty easy hit. Under 1.5 and then under 2.5 in the Grant fight. Barely got that Grant one under 2.5. Another money bet. And then our little fun one lost, but Grant did get the KO. I also did do Davey Grant by KO prop on my own, but we'll keep that off the bet sheet because I didn't show it on Instagram, so probably shouldn't credit myself for it. Okay, main event. Jan Blachowicz got the win versus Aleksandar Rakic. I know you were frustrated by this one.
Very.
Do you think Jan deserves any credit?
For what?
Well, in a way, he did affect the fight result, and he did so much damage to that other leg that it forces Rakic to put an unnecessary amount of weight on his other leg and other factors like that. So. Well, it definitely has some effect. He was bouncing around the same
he was in the first round.
It has some effect, and I'm not saying it's like a steal thing. And his
leg was beat up in the first round, and Rakic still went out there and dominated the second. I mean, he was going to do the same in the third and fourth.
But he did take 2 leg kicks in the third, and then that happened still. But I don't know, it's still a fluke thing, I agree, but I think he deserves some credit. He put on a good fight. He showed that he was the finisher in the fight. I think Jan would be. But Rakic would have the better wrestling. Rakic's punches looked awful in my opinion. He had a good jab, but his right hand to follow anything was awful. It was nowhere near hitting Jan. But Jan checked a lot of the leg kicks that Rakic threw out too, and then
if anything, credit the check leg kicks.
And it stopped the swelling, I think, a lot on Jan's leg too. But Jan, I think early on he just got a lot of shin hits on Rakic, and his leg just blew up. But on the ground, I mean, yeah, if it went another round, that over 3.5 would have hit. And then also, I think Rakic would have just wrestled him to a decision. He seemed to have pretty good cardio with doing that, too.
Jan was breathing heavier than what Rakic was, too.
Yeah, he doesn't move around that much, either. I don't know, it's a weird main event. It's kind of a weird result for future title picture, because I don't think Jan deserves another title shot, and I don't think...
No, he's going to get submitted right away.
I think Rakic still needs another fight to tell a title shot, so... Well, obviously now that he does, but it'll be like a year off.
For at least a year.
Yeah. But, yeah, that was the main event. The next fight, Superman Span beat Ion Kutebala with a submission, a guillotine choke. We didn't have really any weight behind this. I had 0.25 units behind a parlay, but were you frustrated by any of this, or?
No, I didn't have anything going in this fight. I mean, I figured it would go under the 1.5, and it did.
Oh shit, I forgot about that one.
Kutebala is just an idiot. He was swinging for the fences and fell down.
I mean, there probably are some things I thought about that, like, I probably should have addressed, like, my head before picking Kutebala on this, but, like, I've always noticed, if there's a smaller wrestler that's fighting a bigger guy, it's always hard for them to hold them down. Like, it happened in the MVP fight, and it's happened in, like, other fights, like, even the Schuchatian and Rebus fight. But, like, yeah, Ion doesn't have any boxing, it's just, like, windmill punches. And then Span touched him up a couple times. But, like, Ion had full mount on a takedown, and he couldn't hold the position. He passed his guard, and he could have dropped elbows, but Span recovered and got him off. And Span looked like a lot bigger of a fighter. I don't know if you thought that, too. Yeah, he looked a lot bigger. Hulk looked pretty small. He should paint himself green next time when he goes in, but...
Yeah, he should.
But yeah, this, like we said, this is the result we expected. Under 1.5 made sense. Kind of was surprised by the line for Kutebala, but...
I was surprised he won by submission. I thought it would have been a knockout either way.
I thought that too. But I guess Span seems to be pretty decent in round 1, but I thought Kutebala was a blitzer, and he would get the job done by blitzing Span, and because that's how other people have done it. But he didn't look too great.
Yeah, both these guys suck.
The next matchup we had was Davey Grant versus Louis Schmolka. Kind of as expected, right? I mean, we had KO round 1, but I mean, he had a 10-8 round 1, and if you don't think so, look at the numbers.
Yeah, and knocked him down too.
Knocked him down. I think he put like 60 significant strikes in round 1 or some shit. I don't know, it was some crazy number. But I mean, he didn't control his gas tank too well. Schmolka had chances in round 2 to try to take over, but I think Davey kind of just slowed down his punches, and then he got his gas back, and he got that finish in round 3. Unexpected knockout too. Like, Schmolka was on the ground.
Yeah, due to those leg kicks, and he just kind of just fell down.
Well, I haven't even seen like a knockout like that where somebody's in half guard and they just hit dude once and then he like chinned him right there and bop, he was just out. It was just like kind of shocking, and I went ballistic when it happened. But yeah, Davey needs to slow down his fights, and he knocked him down with a straight jab in round 1, and then he went back to doing hooks. So maybe he should stick to some more straight punches in his game plan. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, the next fight, Caitlyn Schuchatian versus Mandaribus. My scorecard. Let's have you say your scorecard first for this.
29-28 Schuchatian.
And that's rounds 1 and 2 for Chuk, you say?
Yeah, 1 and 2. She did more damage in round 1, although that Rebus got a takedown. She didn't do anything with it.
Yeah, it was an advanced position, but again, she didn't have any strikes or submission attempts from there.
Yeah.
I I had it 30-27. I just thought Schuchatian held range, and Ribas just walked into punches the whole fight, and I thought that Chuch was ahead in all the rounds, but I think also verdict is pretty biased from what I can see. Like, I don't know. Round 2 seemed clear as day to me that it was Schuchatian's, and it was close on verdict. There was one takedown, but Schuchatian had the better striking on the feet, pushed her up to the cage at the end of the round, and I don't know. I thought that was pretty clear. I'm not the biggest fan of Schuchatian, but she did hit her a lot in this fight. And Ribas was doing, like, trying to do, like, Mike Tyson shit, like, moving around and moving her head a lot, and she was still getting hit. And did you see the significant strike numbers on this fight? Like, the stats? No. They're so wrong. Like, Ribas had more significant strikes, it said, which is blatant. It's impossible. I don't think it's possible.
Yeah, I didn't see it that way.
I didn't think that she had even close to the same amount of strikes Schuchatian had, and I think both these two hit a lot of air, but I'd say that Ribas hit double the air that Schuchatian did. But this was a cash cow fight for us, at least. Over 2.5, and Schuchatian by points. So that was a cash fight. Alright, in the next fight, Manuel Torres got the KO versus Frank Camacho. Kind of as we expected. I picked round 2 for the KO, but Frank Camacho took some time off, got the chin a little better, it seemed like. He kept his arms up, trying to deflect all the hooks, or at least see them coming. And he did a good job of that for a little bit.
Yep, another bad stoppage from Herb Dean.
Yeah, he doesn't know how to hop in and stop a fight. He lets the fighters make the call whether they want to continue or not. It's like, that's not how this works. But he smokes dope.
Am I going to stop it?
He smokes dope. He's got a joint in his hair at all times. He just whip out. But, I don't know, Torres looked like the better fighter. Younger fighter, more athletic. I thought he was going to gas himself, but he got the job done.
Yeah.
Okay, and the next one, Alan Nascimento took out Jake Hadley by decision, giving him the first loss. And in my opinion, this was goofy. I think I said this before the fight, but it was goofy matchmaking for them to give Hadley Nascimento as his first fight in the UFC, whereas Tayara and Muhammad Makayev have faced much worse guys to start their UFC career.
Yeah, Allen looked like a bantamweight. He looked huge.
Yeah. He does that Charlie Olive's weight cut where they're just testing the border of the weight class, you know? It's like, will they make it that day? That's just always the question. And there was a ton of submission attempts in this fight. Both were super good at defending them. I saw before that Nascimento had never gotten finished, and Hadley was obviously a younger fighter, hasn't gotten finished, and he's undefeated at the time. So I felt like going to the decision was a good prop to go after, and it was. I think Nascimento looked better on the feet with the Charlie Olive style of striking too, like flying front kicks and shit like that. But probably a dog that we should have sniffed out before this, but couldn't fade the young Hadley.
Yeah.
In our next fight, we had Vivian Andrajo versus Andrea Lee. We didn't have anything writing behind this fight, so there wasn't really much to get happy or upset about. Obviously, I'm a cheer for our picks, but Lee almost KO'd her in round 1. Pretty good.
Yeah. That was kind of surprising.
That front kick literally landed like right on the neck, and if it was 1 inch up, it would have been lights out. She seemed to like from what our predictions said, I feel like I was pretty accurate. And Andrea would hold range a little better on the feet, and outbox her. And I think for the time in the round 1, she was outboxing her. But Andrajo had the endurance, which I'd watched in previous fights, and she got winded. So it was kind of surprising to see her go 3 rounds and not get tired.
Yeah, that was a weird fight. And then Lee in like the 3rd round, I think, went for like a crescent kick, which was stupid and got on her back right away.
Yeah, when you're that exhausted, don't throw anything above the waist for a kick. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it's just not worth it. And then, I mean, this is the common trend in chick fights. I feel like is just not being able to stop a takedown. Like, Andrea Lee has pretty good grappling, and she had some okay submission defense, but like, she's not digging underhooks, and she's not sinking her hips into the fence when people are taking her down, and then she just gets lifted and dropped by Andrajo. It's just like, well, this is why you should not bet on it, but we're 1-7 for chick fights in the last 2 events, so that's pretty funny. Next fight we had was Michael Johnson versus Alan Patrick. Went as we expected.
Yeah, Michael Johnson got the knockout, round 2.
Yeah, he, I said this before, like, Alan Patrick doesn't look good anywhere, and he wasn't. He ran around like a fucking gremlin.
Yeah, he was awkward fighter.
Awkward style. I think Michael Johnson was so scared of getting taken down that that was his main objective, was just to not get taken down. It was pretty easy KO. I don't even know what the fuck to say about this fight. I mean, there was a good knockout, but I mean, the matchup wise, it wasn't a very good matchup. And Alan's old.
Good for Michael Johnson to get back in the winning column.
Yeah, I like that he's back in the winning column. I think he needs to fight Makhachev for next, right?
Yeah.
And winner gets a title shot.
That was his first knockout since Dustin Poirier in 2016.
That's pretty bizarre. He's fought a lot of wrestlers and whatever since then too.
Yeah.
Or him versus Dan Hooker could be another matchup, but I don't know if the UFC wants to do that either.
Yeah. Probably not.
The next matchup we had is Angela Hill versus Fiorina Janadroba. We didn't get Hill right, but once again, a chick can't stop the takedown, and it kind of just goes that same result.
Yep, this is a low-level fight, and Angela Hill will probably be cut from the UFC.
She won't be cut. They can't cut her.
Why? She's 13-12. She sucks.
For one, she's a black female fighter, and there's not too many of them in the UFC. And she's ranked, right?
Yeah, she was in that fight.
They won't.
Not anymore.
They won't cut her. I don't think Dana, white privilege would play out that well. But Virna, it's just scary looking at her. I don't know what to say, man. Angela, again, she just couldn't stop the takedown. Obviously, she was the better striker, and common trend. But like Virna looks horrible against some other fighters who can stop a takedown. Much more to say about this one.
Yeah.
Tatsuro Taira beats Carlos Candelario in the 3-round fight, and he went to go eat a hamburger. I want a hamburger.
From In-N-Out.
What do you think of him as a prospect after that fight?
Yeah, I like him. I mean, he obviously made mistakes and couldn't get the finish when he had many opportunities to, but yeah, I still like him.
I think he had a hard time locking in his positions. Like, he would be on the back and controlling the position, and then kind of not have Candelario just stuck there where he couldn't move. And I think he just kind of struggled to keep that down. And I really expected him to get the submission, and he didn't get it, but he had like 5 or 6 chances at it.
Yeah, he still looked really good.
Yeah, on the feet he looked better too. He has nice power in his hands.
Yeah.
I don't know who they'll match him up against, but
hopefully another can. Build him up a little
if
more.
he's 22, you gotta like get him into fights slowly. You can't just push him into the storm.
Yeah.
So Muhammad Makayev, right, next?
Yep, in July.
And then Davison Figueiredo probably after that.
Yeah.
Next fight was Andrei Petroski versus Nick Maximov, and there was a submission round 1 for Petroski. Kind of a fluke win, but I don't know if I'll call it a fluke for sure because, there was skill involved to get that submission. I think if they fought 10 times, Maximov wins 8 of those matchups. I don't know, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Maximov was going in the better grappler and wrestler, so everyone was on his side, and the line showed it. I mean, I didn't have anything going in this one.
I just thought, I know Maximov's wrestling can be kind of sloppy. Like, he's one of those dudes that just grabs onto your foot and tries to use that to get up there. But when he got caught in, the initial darce on the takedown attempt, he just sat there and, didn't fight the hands, and then he let Petroski contort him into a submission, into the anaconda choke or whatever it was. And the whole thing, Petroski looked so bad on the feet. He looks awful. He just doesn't look good at all.
Yeah.
And Maximov doesn't look great on the feet either, but, I think if the fight goes past round 1, obviously I think Maximov will take it, but he shot a lazy takedown, and Petroski got away from it. I think everyone's kind of upset by this one. It was the biggest favorite on the card, losing in the first fight. It's cash going down the drain for so many people. But that's the fucking fight game, I guess. There's crazy wins like this. And Nick Diaz's army falls.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this was the full card recap. Obviously not a great card for picks. We went 5 for 11. But yeah, again, we're not betting half the fights. And we still had a even/positive night for going 5 for 11 on picks. That shows you a little bit more of the discipline for our picks, I guess. But yeah, check out the Instagram. Carson, you got anything?
Nope.
The Twitter.
Next card is a banger.
Oh yeah, I can't wait to talk about it.
Yes.
Check out the Twitter because I think Carson's keeping y'all updated on that. If you're gonna keep doing that.
Check out the Instagram, actually. Would be the best bet.
Yeah, because I can post more pictures more easily on that, too. But, yeah, that's it. Peace.
Peace.